What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, your sports guy. I'm joined by the one, the only, who has joined me every week on this show, my good friend, who you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com. You definitely can catch him this Thursday, tomorrow, on CrescentCitySports.com, calling the De La Salle Booker T. Washington game. And you can catch him on Max Preps, my good friend, Mr. VK Jones. VK, what's going on, man?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Appreciate you joining you tonight, man. Another night, now we're on 2 nights a week, so it's kind of fun. Trying to head my way back to the house as well. Not on the camera. Had a junior high basketball game to coach tonight. Very close game. We only lost by 2, but it was one of the most maybe wildest games I've probably ever been involved in, man. But it's good to be here tonight.
Man, glad to have you, bro. Last night, Coach Riley and Coach Levanta Davis, man, 2 great interviews, man. Hey, I can't say much more about it, man.
Wow. Me either. Me either. I mean, very enjoyable. I mean, Coach Davis, straight to the point, talking about St. James football, talking about his career and everything, formerly from the West Bank. And now he's really engulfed in his River Parish football. And then, man, Joe Riley was unbelievable with the storytelling that he came with, besides promoting MLK, and telling how MLK trying to kind of came up as a school and stuff. Very enjoyable interviews. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yes, indeed. So on today's show, we're going to talk about week 10 of the Louisiana high school football that's coming up. A lot of games that will be decided for the district championship. We're going to give a recap on week 9 of what we thought was, the best thing that happened in week 9, pretty much. We're going to give our thoughts on who we think will win between LSU and Alabama. But we're going to start off with the New Orleans Saints. And my man, this was the best Saints performance this year. Best Saints performance all around, offensively and defensively. Can't say anything bad about the Saints. But what I will say is that I don't think the Las Vegas Raiders were prepared. I don't think they were prepared offensively, defensively, mentally, physically. I don't think they were prepared at all. And I'm going to say this, man. You have to find ways to give your best weapons the ball. That's Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, which they didn't do at all. I mean, the Saints didn't have Marshawn Lattimore at all. You have a rookie shutting down Devontae Adams. And that's something I didn't see happening. I thought Devontae Adams would have a big game. So, look, I want to give props to Alante. He played a hell of a game. But I put that on the coaching staff of the Las Vegas Raiders. Also, defensively for the Las Vegas Raiders, if I'm putting together a game plan as a defensive coordinator, and I look at the injury report, no Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry, only Chris Olave, my goal is to stop Alvin Kamara, period. I will not let one man beat my defense, period. And Alvin Kamara torched that defense the whole game, running and receiving. So give props to the Saints, 100%. Best game they played this year, but I have to give some blame to the Las Vegas Raiders for not being prepared at all. Your turn, sir.
I think I agree with you on that a little bit. And I think, this kind of reminds me of when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first won the Super Bowl under John Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that when you're a former boss of your team and you see some certain little nuances you see when you were coaching and all that stuff, meaning that might be an advantage on your end because you know exactly what they're doing. You know exactly what the culture is. So it was a big advantage for the Saints because Dennis Allen it was the interim coach for the Raiders. So with that, he kind of knew a little bit what was happening. I think for the first time, I can say for Dennis Allen, knowing he's been in a little bit of trouble, at the same time, I think you need to put a little some extra in his check because of him with the preparation and having seemed like he really knew what he was doing against the Raiders. I give him the props. I give him a little extra on the check for him. Now, besides that, everything with the Saints went right. Give a lot of credit to the Saints defense. Outstanding performance. And also a shutout. It's been a while since the Saints defense had a shutout. So that's big and also giving the crowd what they want. It was rocking on a day before Halloween and stuff. And it was a fun day, and the Saints just did it all, man. They did well. But I can say one thing about the Raiders. They are really, really struggling after high expectations for
Correct.
that squad. High expectations. And is it Josh McDaniels is the coach of the Raiders?
That's correct.
Overrated. There's a reason why he's not a good head coach in this league. He is right now again in the hot seat because he probably had. Now I remember the year he had a nice little start for the Denver Broncos, and then it went on a long slump. And then the next season, the Broncos ain't really did anything.
Right.
Now McDaniels, like I said, some coaches are meant to be great coordinators,
That's
and
right.
that's it. Great coordinators, but not good head coaches.
Well, let me say this also. The Saints did receive a visit from former New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton. Now, we don't know what was said from Coach Sean Payton to the New Orleans Saints football team and the coaching staff. But I'll say this. Play calling wise, offensively, looked like when Coach Sean Payton used to call the plays. The play calling was better. It wasn't even predictable. So I'm just saying, man, I think Coach Sean Payton put something in Dennis Allen's ear and Pete Carmichael. I think he told him you got to get your best players involved more. And that's Alvin Kamara, even Taysom Hill, even though I call him gimmick because all he does is run a gimmick play and it works most of the time for the Saints. But I think Coach Sean Payton said something in their ear.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Do you
And
agree?
I think Taysom Hill, and you're right, he is a gimmick player, but Taysom Hill, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? If he runs the ball that well, why don't we just put him in the backfield and run the football? Or if you have him at quarterback, have him and Alvin Kamara run the option, just like Lamar Jackson does. You know, do it
Yeah,
like that. You know, like I said, I think like I said, I think Taysom can be used in many other ways, but he's not a quarterback.
he's not a what? We lost VK for a second. He'll be back in a second. I think you're saying Taysom Hill is not a quarterback, which is correct. VK Jones, you back with us?
I'm here. I'm here.
Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I was saying that he runs the ball very, very well. So that's why I'm thinking option quarterback or basically have him in the backfield as a running back.
What about tight end? That's what he's supposed to be this year.
Yeah, that's another thing. You could put him in tight end. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? He can go catch the ball. Use him
Mm-hmm.
in those kind of ways. Don't make it
Yeah.
obvious.
Okay. Gotcha. Yes, indeed. The Saints will be playing the Baltimore Ravens coming up this this upcoming Monday.
Yep.
We have Lamar Jackson coming to town. Now Lamar Jackson is without Rashad Bateman, and it's possible that Mark Andrews may not be playing this game. Also, two of his top targets. He still will have Devin Duvernay. Saints have to keep Lamar Jackson in containment. They cannot let him get outside. Let him get outside, we are in trouble, big time. We keep Lamar Jackson contained, we have a shot to win this game. What do you think?
I agree. I definitely agreed. Agree with you on that one. They really do. They need to have the approach like they did Michael Vick years ago. Have a
Yeah.
spy on him, or not just that. Have your linebackers get to the running lanes, cheat up, and make sure you slow down Lamar Jackson. And that's the best way to
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Yeah.
Make sure you get in those running lanes. Make sure you cut the running lane off. That's
Right.
very, very important. Because if you don't, yeah, it's gonna be Lamar Jackson all night long. I think that,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I think the Saints, blitz him. I don't know because that might be difficult.
Yeah, might be very difficult. But I mean, there might come a time when we might have to. You know what I mean? You might have to blitz him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying at one point you're gonna have to, but you got to be careful.
Most definitely. Lamar Jackson's very dangerous on his feet, and even passing the ball, he's gotten better since his rookie year. It's the reason why he won the MVP a couple years back. Big Monday night game. The Dome won't be rocking. The Ravens come to town. Like I said, contain them, we win. More than likely, that's how I feel. Now, moving on to LSU versus Alabama this week. Before I start there, I'm going to bring in our good friend, Mr. George Pepis. Hello, George Pepis.
What's up, Jared Boyd? How you doing, sir? Fashawn, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to hear from you.
Same here.
Thanks for joining the show, George. We're moving on to LSU versus Alabama. I'm going to go first, okay? I'm wearing this LSU hat, as you can see. I know some of y'all be like, that know me, why are you wearing the LSU hat? But please don't get it twisted. Let me just say this. I think LSU has a shot to win this game. I've said for years, if you can block the front line of Alabama's defense and give your quarterback time to throw, you can beat them. Alabama's weakest link for years has been their defensive backs. You give Jaden Daniels time to throw, he can make magic happen. Number two, LSU cannot get off to no slow start. They got to start fast right out the gates in the first quarter. They do that, they got a chance to win. But with all that being said, roll tide, Alabama still will get the win. Go ahead, George Pepis.
Well, how do you follow that up? Anywho, you look at the Vegas line, and me, I'm about the numbers. Alabama opened 13.5, and I believe it's been floating around 13.5, 14 points all week. On premise, LSU seems to have really made strides, have they not? They're 6-2, couple of good wins at Florida, Ole Miss at home. They've gotten some good wins. You look at Jaden Daniels, and it seems to me like Brian Kelly has figured out, okay, this is a big weapon. Let me utilize him the right way. I've taken a few games to kind of figure him out. Now I know what to do. I wish LSU had a complimentary running game, not named Jaden Daniels, somebody like a John Emery, somebody like that, to take a little bit of the heat off. The offensive line has gotten better as the season has gone on. From Florida State week 1 to now, they've made strides.
Uh-huh.
If they're able to, like you said, if they're able to block the front of Alabama and keep Will Anderson in check, because I believe that guy has not had a bust out game yet this year. It's I don't want to say ordinary, but you haven't seen that game yet from him. And what better spotlight would it be in Baton Rouge against a team that's, oh, by the way, number 10 in the first playoff rankings?
That's
There's
right.
there's an avenue for LSU to get to the playoff. Win out. Simple as that. If they do that, they're guaranteed a spot because they will have beaten Alabama and they will have rematched either Tennessee or beat Georgia. How do you leave them out of the playoff? You don't. But as far as this game, I don't know if LSU can win it. I do think they can compete. But for them to actually win this game, they're going to have to bring the heat on Bryce. Defensively. Offensively, they're going to have some kind of balance. And I just don't see it. I think Alabama's going to get some scores early in the game to gain a little bit of clarity and some separation and force LSU to chase. If they do that, I don't think it's a blowout, but I do think Alabama hugs the number at the end of the day for Sean.
Well, I definitely believe LSU has a shot, has a big time chance to win it. Like I said, this is what we've been talking about before, Jared, about the Tigers.
Yeah.
At night, Tiger Stadium. And I tell you one thing,
Let me
the
say this.
momentum LSU has.
Let me say this. Let me say this right quick. I know you talk about Tigers at night and all that good stuff, but guess what? Every time for the past multiple years, Alabama has gone to Tiger Stadium. The game's been at night, and Alabama has won. Go ahead, my man.
Of course. But every game they played was close. It was maybe one game. It was maybe one game Alabama dominated. Everything else has been close. You know what I'm saying? But I think LSU is having some momentum right now. They finally win a home game at Tiger Stadium in the day. It's been a while since that happened. So with that, the Tigers, especially with Brian Kelly, defensively they're getting better. Offensively, the way that Jaden Daniels is handling his business, they got to have another running back or something to take some pressure off. I definitely agree with that. Does LSU have a chance? Yes, and I'm like this. I issued a challenge to the LSU Tigers and whoever else is on the schedule left for the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is your chance to knock off Bama and not have them have a chance to go to the college football playoff. This is your time, and your time starts now. And that is the Tigers challenge this week. If you're going to knock them off, you better do it here. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Bama wins. It's going to be a very, very close ball game.
All right. Quickly, guys, quickly. Just one word answer. Who you got, Tennessee or Georgia? George.
Georgia's 8.5-point favorites. On premise, I would, and VK is going to love me for this, but because he's got the man crush in this game, Stetson Bennett. I'm not going to hate on the man, but I do think Georgia's defense is going to make enough stops, and I think they win a game. They win this by a touchdown. Georgia by 7.
VK.
Stetson Bennett's my main guy. I always say leave him alone. but I'm going the other direction.
Oh wow.
Tennessee is going to get it done. Tennessee showed me something on Saturday against Kentucky. They showed that they have killer instinct. And like I said, if they beat Bama, they're Georgia ready. And they're definitely Georgia ready now. especially what I've done in the last couple of weeks, especially last week against Kentucky, taking charge and getting it done and showing that they are for real. It's gonna be tough it's gonna be a tough game for Tennessee. It's gonna be close because it's not easy getting a win, especially up at Sanford Stadium in Athens. It's gonna be a hell of a game, but I'm gonna go with the Vols to finally get over the hump and to stay at number one.
See, I said one word answers. Y'all went into a whole story. I thank y'all though. I thank y'all, my friends.
Insight.
Got to have insight.
I'm going Tennessee, man, because I think Tennessee has the best offense in all of college football. Number one, they have the best player so far in college football this year, and Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, straight out beast right now, wide receiver. Georgia, yeah, they beat a good Oregon team, and Oregon has gotten better. But at the same time, we've seen Georgia struggle with Missouri. I just don't think Georgia has enough to keep up with this offense. They get the ball out so fast. I got Tennessee. I got the Vols.
It wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee wins the game. What I'm trying to say is that Oregon opening week was supposed to push Georgia. Remember, this is a wide open football team that plays fast. Oregon that by premise plays fast. Georgia held them to a field goal. Yes, it was a neutral site game. Well, if you want to call it that. That being said, Tennessee plays a different tempo than Oregon, and it sounds weird to say that because they both can run the ball, can move the ball, but Tennessee feels like they can do the quick strike better than Oregon, and that's what Georgia's challenge is going to be. But Kirby Smart's not an idiot. I mean,
no, not at all.
This dude knows how to coach and win and coach defense. I think this Bulldogs team is going to read how Tennessee has dropped 40 plus points, have hit 50 plus a couple of times this year, and they're going to be like, not on us. That's why I feel like this is a statement for Georgia. Tennessee's number one, but Georgia's the reigning champions. Don't think for 1 second this Bulldog team ain't going to be coming out ready to knock snot and go get it. I think Tennessee's going to struggle early. I think they may get some plays here and there, but at the end of the day, Georgia's going to win this football game. I get where y'all coming from with Tennessee, but we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll have egg on my face. It's not the first time.
No, I'm like this. If I'm wrong, it's all good. Because to me, y'all gonna put some respect on Stetson Bennett's name.
Oh dear God! Here we
go. All I know.
Here we go.
Y'all gonna put some respect on that man's name.
Tell you what, for Valentine's Day, go get him some roses, man. Go ahead.
But Hendon Hooker is right now the Heisman Trophy winner, in my opinion. He is the man right now.
I had a Blake Corum? Wow.
Huh?
Okay. I had a Blake Corum who's absolutely killed it this year. I mean,
have y'all not seen Blake too? I like Blake. Don't get me wrong. But
he's a beast.
Oh yeah,
Blake
who? Don't get me wrong.
Who? Corum, Michigan.
Michigan running back. Running back.
Oh, he's nice. Yeah, he's nice. But what Hendon Hooker did against Bama was freaking criminal. And to me, it reminded me of what's his name? The Jaguars quarterback,
Trevor
Lawrence. What he did to Bama in the national championship.
I thought that was Deshaun that did that, not Trevor.
Shoot, Deshaun did good, and Trevor did well too. I'm actually both of them. What they did to Bama. So exactly, both of them. So I'm just saying he's the guy. Hinton is the guy right now. But still, if Georgia gets it done, y'all gonna put respect on my boy Stetson Bennett's name. That's all I can say about that. But Tennessee does get them.
All right, guys. Let's move on. We had week 9 of Louisiana high school football. I want y'all to want y'all to say what y'all thought was very impressive. I'm gonna go first. And to me, it's the Archbishop Shaw Eagles as of right now having a share of the district championship. It is Shaw's first district championship in football since 2008. And this Friday night, they will play for the outright district championship. So with Shaw getting the win over Higgins 48-6, they clinched their share of the district championship. George Pepis.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm with you on Shaw, but how about in the 3A ranks last week? Mead beating Sterlington on the road, 26-20. I mean, I know I'm going out of the area, but
That's
that's a
okay.
team.
That's okay.
You know, I mean,
Amy's still part of Southeast Louisiana, so
yes, sir. But I mean, that's a win that you look at. De La Salle continues to roll. The Cavaliers continue to roll on. Um, I mean, and you mentioned Shaw going for their first outright title, and y'all got Higgins this week, is it?
We got Helen Cox.
Oh, y'all got Cox this week. Helen Cox. Y'all should beat Helen Cox. Helen Cox has been nice for some parts of the year. Another game. I mean, how about Kentwood? Another power goes to Southern Lab, beats the reigning state champions in 1A, 33-26 on the road.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, the team I've been touting all year in 2A of Boyles, winning 68-45. That's a Madden score.
Yes,
They
it
win
is.
that game. I mean, that's crazy. And of course, I gotta give
George.
George.
We'll get George back in a second. Go ahead, PK.
Well, we had a lot of one-sided ball games last week and everything else. You know, a lot of shootouts to the death, you could say.
Yeah.
But you know, the one thing that stood out last week, and I was a little surprised, not surprised on one side of it, but the other side, I was like, wow. The Destrehan Wildcats, what they did against East St. John on the road at Joe Keller Stadium, just dominated against East St. John. And I mean, in a good East St. John team that's been scrappy the whole year. And for them to put up that amount of points and basically call the dogs off in the fourth quarter, this just tells that this may be one of the best Destrehan teams you'll maybe ever see, because they are loaded in every position. They are really, really good. And in my opinion, and it doesn't matter what anybody say, we know Zachary is really good. We know they're probably going to be the team. But to me, the Destrehan Wildcats are that team this year. And to me, this might be Marcus Scott's year to finally get a team into the Dome, and not just get to the Dome, probably finally win the state title.
Go ahead, George. Finish what you were saying before we lost you.
I was going to bring up Hahnville. You know, somebody on this panel has kind of been a little funny. Can y'all hear me fine?
Yeah, we hear
Can
you.
y'all hear me? Okay, good.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to rib on you a little bit, Jared, because Hahnville won last week against Central Lafourche. But no, I was talking about the Boyles before the sound went out. And they continue, they you know, when they're not playing the big boys, they roll. They won again last week against Rose Pine. You mentioned Destrehan, and I actually was, I think, the only one to actually step out and take East St. John last week when we did the pick segment. Boy, I look stupid, don't I? I look with egg on my face. I mean, 48-7. I'm not surprised Destrehan won, and I really stick to your first instinct. I said Destrehan from week one was going to win Class 5A, and I bailed on them for that game. I mean, Destrehan is going to be the team to beat in 5A. I think Zachary's there. And how about Acadiana last week bouncing back at Karen Crow, 21-20, winning that game. You know, that's another bounce back. You know, because they took one on the chin to, was it Southside, I think, at home 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they got the job done last week. So, a couple of interesting results. I think the big showdown this week, Curtis, I know we'll be picking the games here in a little bit. That's going to be one Titanic showdown, and I believe is this Curtis home game, I think?
Curtis home game at Tulane, yeah.
That's right, at Yeoman. Yeah. Which they're gonna put about 10,000 people in there. I think. I think you'll get 10K in there.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on. So we got new power rankings. I'm going to start with Division I non-select. As you can see on the screen, Rustin is now number 1. Zachary 2. Neville 3. Destrehan moves from number 8 to number 4. Southside 5. Airline 6. Slidell drops to 8. East St. John. Slidell drops to 7. East St. John 8. East Ascension number 9. Westboro number 10. That's your top 10. Guys, what sticks out to you in Division 1 non-select?
Who first?
You can go
You
first,
go
George.
first, George.
All right, I got it. You look at Slidell; they're sitting at 7 right now, and they're 8-1, and they've had Walter Scoble's had a nice year there. How far can they go in the playoffs? But look at what Destrehan moves up. See what happens when you beat a powerhouse, a really good team. You
Yep.
were 9th last week, Destrehan, and now you're 4th. So you're still in the clutches on the 1 seed, Ruston. But that game is at Ruston if they play him in the playoffs. Zachary and Neville. I mean, there's a chance. Look, it would stink for South Louisiana, but Ruston Neville in the Superdome. That's old time stuff right there. Those two. Because I go back to the 80s with those two, with Chick Childress and Charlie Brown as coaches. I see Southside at 5, and they're 8-1. They validated the win 2 weeks ago with another one last week. Westgate's sneaking around though in that 12 spot though, boy. I mean, they've had a tough schedule, and don't you think that schedule is going to prep them for the playoffs? Westgate.
It should.
I mean, I would think they're going to be a team. I would, if I'm the 5, who is Southside. Do I want that game? I mean, even though it may be at Southside, Westgate's got every chance, potentially.
Sure do. Yep.
That's just my opinion.
VK.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm hoping that Rustin and Destrehan is on the opposite sides, and you'll have a Destrehan Rustin for the state championship. Bottom line, both teams have been consistent all year. Not knocking Zachary, because I wouldn't be surprised Zachary will make it maybe to the semifinals. Neville, like I said, they're a good program, but they're not the same Neville. They're not the same Neville. So, expect them to go deep, but it's not the same Neville team. But I really think in my mind that it could be a Rustin Destrehan state championship if they're on the opposite sides of the bracket. Westgate is going to be a team that is going to spoil a lot of seasons. And when I say spoil a lot of seasons, they might be the bracket buster more than anything else, because they're going to stun some teams in the playoffs.
As it stands right now, Jared, Rustin and Destrehan, if I'm reading your rankings right, they would see each other in the semifinal, 1 versus 4.
That's correct.
That would be a semifinal matchup. So if you can move the needle a little bit, get one of them out of there, move one of them to 3 or 2 or something like that. Maybe you'll get that dome matchup, which I wouldn't mind seeing those two in the Superdome. But kind of want to see that dynasty Zachary go back again. No,
it would be good to maybe see that. Nah. I'm like this. Another team that could be a dangerous team that might spoil some brackets is.
Did we lose him?
VK? Yeah, he'll come back. He'll come back. Let me go right quick.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking at what's sticking out to me.
A whole lot.
I'm looking at 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Even live vote. So that 28 spot is still up for grabs. And if these teams don't win, one of these teams can move up. Now, Thibodeau has Destrehan. That's a loss. I'm sorry. Thibodeau's not beating Destrehan. St. Amant, they have, let me show you right quick who they have. St. Amant has, they have Live Oak. That is not a guaranteed win for Saint Amant. But if Saint Amant pulls it off, I think they'll hop Thibodeau with Thibodeau losing, and they'll take that spot. Ponchatoula also has a chance to move up. They have a game against, and I'll show you that also.
Is it Mandeville, I think?
I want to say it might be Covington.
Could be.
No. Ponchatoula is playing Hammond. Yeah. That's going to be a tough matchup. So I think that 28th spot is up for grabs, and we will see come Sunday morning, or really Friday night, who won, and then we get the bracket Sunday morning. VK, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. You want to finish what you were saying?
I was saying, Slidell's going to be a very dangerous team because of the fact that they got the best defense in the state, and the offense is really starting to come around. So that could be a big factor going into the postseason. And, I would like to see Zachary maybe back, but, I'm saying we'll see what happens because, as long as Eli Holstein's healthy, he's going to really carry the team. But it's going to be a hell of a playoffs. We'll see what happens. But, we would like to see a Destrehan Rustin, but maybe might see Zachary back, but it's going to be a hell of a playoff.
All right. Moving down to Division 1 select. As you can see, Warren Easton, Catholic Baton Rouge, Curtis, St. Aug, Bird, Northwood Shreve, Karen Crow, Acadiana, Scotlandville, and McKinley round out your top 10. I'm going to say this. What sticks out to me is the Edna Carr Cougars at number 13. They are taking on the John Curtis Patriots this Friday night. Edna Carr gets this win. Edna Carr, to me, definitely will move up high. How high, I don't know. I think they have the chance to move up to number 8. Number 9, there are some projections that has them going to number 6 with this win over Curtis. But I think Carr, if they beat John Curtis, they will move up, definitely. Number 2, Catholic Baton Rouge. They have Zachary. Catholic Baton Rouge gets the win over Zachary. I guarantee they will hop over Warren Easton for the number 1 spot. Go ahead, George.
I agree with you. And for all the talk before the year about Warren Easton, it's not fair that they're in Division 1. Look who's on top. They are. And, that's credit to Jerry Phillips and his staff and what that team has done. Since the shellacking against Carr, they have been unstoppable. They're sitting at number 1, but I agree with you. If Baton Rouge Catholic knocks off Zachary, for sure, when you look at the PR points, they're going to pass them. I kind of want Edna Carr to win against Curtis because I'm thinking about the Errant side of things because they're 19th, and right now they would project to play Brother Martin. Carr is 13th. So I want Edna Carr to beat Curtis to get out of my section of the draw. If we can duck them, I don't want to play those guys. I mean, those guys are going to destroy Errant if they play him.
George, do you think a lot of these teams are hoping that Carr is on the opposite side of the bracket?
4-leaf clovers, rabbit's feet, you name it, they got it. For sure, they're absolutely hoping for that. Why? Because Edna Carr is clearly the best team in the state. No matter what the rankings tell you, Edna Carr is the best team in Division 1. There's no way that they're going to get beat. But, are there some formidable foes here? Sure. But if Edna Carr plays their best game at the end of the day, Jared, I don't see a team that could beat them for 48 minutes. Now, what does Curtis give them? We're going to find out. And I believe that's a Saturday game, correct? At Yeoman. Friday night. Okay, at Yeoman. Okay. What will JT Curtis and the boys offer up? Look, if that game's close, your people are going to start making narratives of maybe Carr's vulnerable. Hang on, boys. I don't know about all that. But I don't see it. I think Carr's going to win state in Division 1. Who they'll play is what the interesting subplot should be. I think if they play Easton again, we've seen it before, but I kind of want to see Carr and St. Aug in a championship game or a Curtis rematch. I mean, I would rather see that. Nothing against Warren Easton, but I would rather see those matchups. So it's a little fresher.
Yeah. VK.
Agreed. I can say that. More than anything, I think Easton. Here's the thing: Catholic, they do have a great chance of passing up Easton to get the #1 seed. But we've been seeing some strange stuff in the power rankings. When good teams even get good wins, they didn't get to move up. They get moved down or they stay where they at. Because here's the thing. Yeah, Catholic plays Zachary.
Okay.
Easton plays McDonald 35 for the district championship, and McDonald 35 has a good power ranking. So the thing is, if Easton wins, they could still have #1, but Catholic does have a chance to pass them up. But we've seen some strange things in the power rankings this year that all of a sudden, unexpectedly, teams get hot.
I want to say one more thing before we move into our predictions. Don't overlook Acadiana. Why do I say that? We see Acadiana struggle in the regular season before, and come playoff times, they put everything together. All the pieces of the puzzle are connected, and they just roll.
Man, I hope nothing happens.
I agree with that. Absolutely. We cannot overlook Acadiana, Catholic, none of these teams. It is going to be a tough as nails Division I select.
You're right.
Most definitely. Now, let's go ahead and let's move on to the predictions for week 10. So this week, guys, I got games that are for the district championship. We're going to do them last. Do all those games last. We're going to start off with Chalmette at West Jeff. Chalmette holding on by a thread to make the playoffs. I got Chalmette. Who you got, George?
I'm with the Owls too. Both teams. I mean, Chalmette, like you said, is on the skirts of the playoffs, as is West Jeff. They're, I think, two spots out as we speak. So if they could beat Chalmette, they may squeeze into the last. But I'm going to take the Owls. West Jeff has just been putrid offensively all year. Defensively, they've been courageous, but they just don't have any offense. I think Chalmette gets it done.
VK.
We're all on the Owls. I think West Jeff has been trying to fight hard throughout the season, but I think Chalmette's a better team, and I think they get it done in a tight one.
Okay. We're all in agreement. Battle of the Ninth Ward. Battle in the Ninth Ward. Battle of the Ninth Ward. Douglas versus Carver. I think the Carver Rams gets the victory. George Pepis.
I agree, but Douglas has been pretty courageous this year as well. I mean, they have a chance. They're in the playoffs as we speak right now. Carver as well. This is a bitter rivalry, these two. You know, the Ninth Ward and everything else. A lot of tension is going to be in that game. But I think the Rams get it done, though. I'm going to go with Carver.
VK Jones.
I also agree. I think, like I said, this is the battle of the Ninth Ward. And Douglas trying to spoil Carver season, but I think the Carver Rams, they've been playing better and better and better. And I like the Rams getting it done in a tight one against Douglas.
All right. Bell Chase taking on the Landry Buccaneers at Berman Stadium. Bell Chase. I got Bell Chase. I think Voisin. I know I'm not pronouncing his last name right, so I apologize for that. But the running back for Bell Chase, I think he has a big game against Landry, and gets Bell Chase winning. Bell Chase gets ready for the playoffs in Division I non-select. George Pepis.
I'm going to go with Bell Chase. Landry, first year for Noel Ellis. It's been a tough year. They've gotten a couple of wins. They've made incremental progress. But this Cardinal team has bounced back a little bit since the shellacking against Shaw a few weeks ago. I think the Cardinals are going to make their run to the playoffs in the right fashion and get it done. Bell Chase.
VK Jones.
I feel bad for Bell Chase because of the fact that they're in a Division I selection. So they're not going to have a high seed. You know, I feel bad for them because they're a good program. And it's a shame they're not in Division II. Should be interesting. It should be a close game early, but Bell Chase will settle down, and it'll be just like old times way back in the day when Bell Chase used to kind of own Landry. So it'll be close early, but Bell Chase will pull away and win.
Brother Martin taking on St. Augustine. Brother 5-4, so disregard that 5-5. They're 5-4. St. Aug 6-2. I think St. Aug is gonna be upset because St. Aug feels as if they should have won the game last week, and I think we all are in agreement with that. That St. Aug should have beat Curtis. It didn't happen. I think St. Aug is very upset, and I think Brother Martin is just the wrong opponent, stepping in at the wrong time. I got the Purple Knights. George Pepis.
I'm with you. St. Aug's going to beat Brother Martin. Brother Martin's looking like they're in for a roadkill here. Consider St. Aug, like you said, losing that game against Curtis the way they did in that fashion. You got the record right for Brother Martin, though. So you said it's 5-4, but it will be 5-5 when it's all said and done. And this makes one VK Jones very happy that we're both on the Purple Knights. But objectively and analytically speaking, they're the better team. They get it done.
VK.
Well, Purple Knights, they didn't really fall too much in the power rankings. I think they're 5 this week, I believe.
They're still 4.
They're still 4. See,
Yeah.
that's going to be big for the Purple Knights. I think they get it done and solidify a top 4 seed in the Division I playoffs. St. Augustine, they go to 7-2.
Okay. Grace King at East Jefferson. East still trying to fight for playoff hopes. They'll get this win over Grace King easily. George Peppers.
We're picking this game? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a stat pattern right here. I mean, Grace King, in some instances has tried and fought, but when you don't win, the defeatist attitude kicks in. East Jefferson still, like you said, has got a chance at a playoff spot. What does that mean? I mean, if they get in, they're going to be one of the destructive teams in next week. Take the Warriors, East Jeff, and run with it. East Jeff wins going away.
VK.
You know what? The hell with it. I'm putting it on the table.
No.
Putting it on the table.
No.
Upset pick of the week.
Boy,
Grace
get
King
out.
over East Jefferson.
Get
Book
out. Get
Book
out.
it.
You not
East
serious.
Jeff. What I seen last week was from East Jeff against Everett was horrible. Horrible. You think they gonna beat Grace King had the lead on West Jeff for the first half, and West Jeff settled down and got the win. West Jeff is a little bit of a better team than East Jeff, and East Jeff got them.
East Jeff beat West Jeff, right?
That's what I'm saying. East Jeff beat West Jeff. But at the same time, bro, East Jeff has lost direction since their head coach resigned. I'm telling you, Grace King gets their second win of the season, closing it out. Book it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, Charles Allen, if you hear me, we can take a shot together. We can take 2 shots together. Because like I said,
more than that.
Yeah, I know. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going with the Fighting Irish for the upset.
Yes,
wow.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, big one.
And West Jeff's a better team than East Jeff? No, they're not. East Jeff beat them.
I'm talking about athletically.
But they lost to them.
Yeah, they lost to them. But if you would have been at the Everett East Jeff game like us last week, you would have kind of agreed with what I'm saying.
I'm going to say this about John Jarrett, if I can interject.
Go ahead,
22-0, and I've got a friend of mine that's the SRO at Everett. He's the student resource officer. He's a cop. He works with me, so he tells me a lot of things. Everett has been on the improve since they got into district play. Why aren't we not throwing a little shade their way? Considering that they've gotten better look. Y'all know where I stand on the head coach, Reggie Rogers, a nice guy. Y'all know where I stand on that. So I'm not going to repeat myself. but Everett's defense has gotten better, and Falgu, the quarterback, has gotten better as well. He's starting to, gain a little bit of confidence. But East Jefferson, you're banking on a miracle, my friend, Vashawn. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Grace King's going to mail it in. East Jefferson win for fun, and I don't even know why we're still talking about this game.
I'm going to say this because that East Jeff offense I saw, the 3 plays they only ran from that zone offense they have, it was bad. It was bad. All they tried to do was a screen play to a wide receiver, a zone read that the running back kept trying to run outside, and then another zone read to the other side. That was like the only plays they ran. So, I mean, I don't think Grace King beats them still, but from what I saw, it was bad, man. Like, that was bad.
I'm like this, man. I'm sorry. I just got to do this. It just looked that if East Jeff would have been close or gave a good fight even in a loss, I'd definitely say East Jeff all day. But how pathetic they played last week. I'm like, I'm sorry. I give Grace King a shot because it is just, dude, it's bad and ridiculous. Now, oh yeah, Reggie, yeah. I guess you didn't know. It's a shame you don't look at the newspapers.
Oh damn!
Reggie
Really?
going in on VK.
Really? Hey, bro.
Reggie going
Hey,
in on
bro.
you.
Hey, Reggie. Do me a favor, my friend.
Bet.
You need to go back. You need to come back home over to Marrero, over where you belong, to the Shaw Eagles. You need to come back home. Stop selling out to those Crusaders like you always do.
Get him.
Come home.
Get him.
Come home. Don't do that. And all my Shaw people, please get him. Please come get Reggie Johnson. Please go get him.
Traitor.
Come get him, please. Please come get him. Because he put his mouth.
Right,
he right he cash chicken. That's my boy though. But move on.
Yeah,
Move on.
that's our dude, Reggie. That's our dude. All right, moving on. Holy Cross, 2-7, still fighting for their playoff lives. Going to take on East St. John, who just came off a tough, heartbreaking defeat to Destrehan. I'm going to go first. Holy Cross is not a Destrehan. They're not. But they're going to win this game. They going there. They going to beat East St. John in a close contest. Book it. Upset of the week. Holy Cross will beat East St. John. Book that. I'm telling you it's happening. Go ahead, George Pepis.
I don't know what y'all drinking tonight, man, but it's got to be some strong stuff. All kidding aside, He's saying, are we not accounting for the fact that Brandon Brown has got this team angry, that they got embarrassed last week?
He's a good coach.
Yeah, their coach, exactly. Don't you think that practice? I can promise you, practice this week has been very intense. Even for a 2-7 Holy Cross, that isn't as bad as the record indicates. Because remember, they were 22 up on De La Salle, and they gave that game away. They were ahead of John Curtis in the third quarter, and that game got away from them.
Exactly.
I don't remember what they did with Og. I know they got beat by Shaw. But that being said, right. But that being said, I'm not that brave. Warriors get it done. No disrespect to Salt, although he might be in a little bit of trouble. He might be in trouble. St. John should win this game.
Okay.
Well,
VK.
I'm shocked you picked Holy Cross, my friend. I guess you.
I guess you talking about.
Huh?
I bet you are.
I know. See, I guess I'm not the only one that's nuts. Should I join you, my friend?
That's your call.
No, I'm not going to join you. All I'm gonna say, lock of the week, East
Oh,
St. John. Lock of the week. I
Okay.
got to go with the Wildcats. Holy Cross has been playing hard, competitive all year long, but the injuries continue to pile up for Holy Cross, and the bottom is going to fall out. East St. John, big.
East St. John, big.
Big.
I'm not going that way. Because I think defensive coordinator Tommy Connors will have the defense ready to play. I do not think this will be East St. John by 21 or more. I don't. I really don't. I think Holy Cross will have the lead in this game close and finally figure out how to close a game out.
Well, it could happen, but maybe all I'm gonna say, I'm saying big for a reason. East St. John does not have one loss for nothing. This is a good squad.
Yes,
We
they are.
understand. We understand that the River Parish wasn't all that. The Catholic League wasn't all that either. And I'm saying that East St. John is a way better team than people think it is. That's
Okay.
why. And then on top of that, they're coming to Joe Keller. You think they're about to lose two straight at Joe Keller. It ain't happening. It's
And
not.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. East St. John beat a good St. James team. It's probably the best team they beat all year. Holy Cross has been in good games against good teams such as De La Salle and John Curtis. Had games won until the fourth quarter. I think Holy Cross to me has been more tested than East St. John has been. I think Holy Cross getting this win.
Hey, you said a lot. You said a lot, but at the same time, Holy Cross is going to a hostile environment with people hurt. It don't look good, in my opinion. It doesn't.
Hey, one more thing. One more thing.
Yeah.
Western City Sports had this game last week. Holy Cross had the lead on Jesuit going into the fourth quarter and once again gave the game away. I think this time it doesn't happen. All right, moving on. Jesuit against Rummel. I think we got another close matchup on our hands, guys. And I think Rummel will find a way to win this game. George Pepis.
well, I mean, you expect this game to be airtight, and I pretty much would agree with you in that respect. The Rommel Raiders have kind of slid back a little bit to from last year. Last year was a little bit of a rebuild. This year, what have you really seen from Rommel? I mean, except for a couple of showcases, but against the big
It's
heavyweights, they've
the
been
same
ripped.
team. This is the
It's
same
the
players from
same,
last year.
exactly. It's the same team that has not made progress. In that vein, I'm stepping out. My turn. I'm taking a Jays. Jesuit is going to go in with pride, and they're going to get this W and cinch a playoff spot. They may get clobbered next week, but who cares? It's to make the tournament, and you never know what happens when you get to the tournament. I'm taking Jesuit to beat Rummel outright. Sorry, Ken Trahan. Sorry, Ed Daniels. And to all the Rummel grads that are friends of mine, but I'm going with the Blue Jays. Jesuit's going to get the win.
BK Jones.
It's gonna be a close game as well. I really think this is gonna be close. But guess what? I gotta agree with George Peppers. I'm
Uh-oh.
going with the Jays. Going with the Jays in a close game. And I think it'll be a big bounce back and a good, strong finish for the Jesuit Blue Jays and Coach Ryan Manali.
All right. Kennedy, the district champions of their district, trying to clock district undefeated as they take on Sophie B. Wright. There's been some back and forth talk between players through social media, but it is what it is. End of the day, too much Baptiste, too much BB, who's the cornerback for Kennedy, and then the quarterback Chris Armstrong and the toys. Like that's what they say, Chris Armstrong and the toys. That's the weapons, the toys, the wide receivers, the running backs.
Mhm.
Too much Kennedy. George Pepis.
Somebody on social media opined that Kennedy played a garbage non-district schedule.
Yeah, probably said that.
Yeah, that guy is misinformed. This is a sleeper team in D2 for everything.
D2 Select. D2 Select.
D2 Select, they are a sleeper. I know I've been on De La Salle and I'm staying on the Cavs, but Kennedy is a very worthy participant, and this is an 8-1 team. Sophie B. Wright's had a nice little kickback to this year, 6-3. They're going to find a playoff spot. What kind of a threat they are, probably maybe if they get the right match, they get a win. I don't know. And they do host. But as you mentioned, Jared, I think the other thing you got to mention too much speed. Kennedy is too fast on the perimeter, and I think they use that and they win against Sophie B. Wright decisively.
VK.
Well, Sophie B. Wright has been really proving me people wrong all year long and everything else. But I'm not gonna say the soft schedule, but the subpar schedule they had, starting to catch up with them just a little bit. They've been having a good year, but now it's starting to catch up with them a little bit, especially after what happened to them against Livingston. It's starting to catch up with them. Kennedy is on another level, and Kennedy is number 6 in the power rankings. They could crack the top 5. It depends on what happens this week. I got the Kennedy Cougars big over Sophie B.
All right. North Shore looking to play spoiler, meaning they don't want Slidell to have an undefeated district record. Slidell has already clinched the district. So, who wins this game? I think North Shore comes out firing off the get-go. Have Slidell backing up on the heels. Might have a 7-0 lead. But after that, that's it. Slidell offense, they respond. Slidell defense, which is one of the best defenses in the state, they'll buckle down. They'll stop North Shore from then on out. Slidell gets the win. George Pepis.
These are the kind of games coaches absolutely hate. You've got everything wrapped up. District championship has already been cinched, right?
Yeah.
In that vein, again, coaches hate these kind of games because kids, it's natural. They're not going to kill themselves. They know the big picture. The playoffs start next week. I'm with you that North Shore stays in it for a little bit, but I think the Tigers are going to do just enough, Slidell, and get the dub. They'll win, a touchdown spread. I think they'll win by a touchdown in what won't be the prettiest of games, but Slidell's going to do just enough to get this done. North Shore's had a nice year, but Slidell's just destined for bigger things.
VK.
Well, the over-under on this ball game, you can say, is 24. It's definitely 24. I'm like this. Take the under because it's going to be a defensive ball game. I got Slidell winning, but in a close one. Closer than the experts think. But it'll be under 24.
Okay. In this regard, the Slidell record is 8-1, not 9-1. That is my mistake. I apologize. We're moving on. Terrebonne taking on Hornville. Guys, Hornville sits at number 16 in the power rankings. They win this game, they will host a first-round playoff game. Terrebonne does not have a quarterback. Hornville doesn't either. But the better talent is at Hornville. And if used correctly, could be dangerous. But I still think Hornville gets the job done over Terrebonne and will host a first-round playoff game. And I would love to see who their opponent will be. I got Hornville, George Pepis.
I'll make it short and sweet. Hornville wins this game. They're just simply better. They'll out-execute Terrebonne, and they'll win this game. And as you mentioned, they will host a playoff game, but they're still in the clutches of one of the top seeds, even if they win a 1 or a 2. Their playoff journey will be maybe one win and done after that. Harville does win this week, though.
DK.
Gotta agree with you. Pineville, they get it done over Terrebonne. Terrebonne, and credit the new head coach. He's trying to do what he can to turn around the program, but they have a lot of work to do. But I like the Pineville Tigers getting it done on senior night.
There you go. Thibodeau at Destrehan. Destrehan. Plain and simple. George Pepis.
Destrehan.
VK.
Over under 35. Take the over. That's your hand.
All right. Now we're not gonna pick this game because it's been picked, but we're gonna talk about the situation for a minute. Albany and Bogalusa were supposed to play for the District 738 championship. Now we know what happened at Bogalusa at that last home game. A 15-year-old child was shot and murdered outside of the stadium. So the principals of all the schools in the district had a vote, and they voted for this game to be played at a neutral site. Bogalusa appealed it to the LHSAA and won, meaning they got a home game, and they wanted to have a home game for senior night. Albany had a lot of safety concerns due to what happened and decided to forfeit the game. Bogalusa are your district champions. I'm going to go first and let y'all speak about this. I understand both sides. You have to look at it from both sides. With what happened, Albany doesn't feel safe going to Bogalusa. Safety is the most important thing. The concern about the kids is important. And they thought as if forfeiting the game was the right thing to do. I understand it. On Bogalusa's side, I understand wanting to have a game for your seniors to have senior night. I totally get it. I wish some kind of way that both sides would have talked more and that Bogalusa would have heightened their security presence at the stadium. I would have hoped for that. Other than that, shootings can happen at any game. It can happen. We don't ever want it to happen because the safety and concern of everyone in the stadium and the players is the most important thing.
Yeah.
I just wish this could have been worked out, but I understand both sides. George Pepis.
It's a shame that we're not going to see this game. It really is, because these are two excellent football teams. But let's take the football aspect out of it and let's talk about the social and life aspect. You have a 15-year-old kid that got murdered at their last home game in Bogalusa. Albany, I'm completely in lockstep with you, Jared, on both ends. What I wish would have happened was put the game at a neutral site, have Bogalusa take a majority of the game, being that this is their home game, and honor the seniors. It's a crappy way for the senior class of Bogalusa to not get what they rightfully deserve. And to the family of the 15-year-old young man, we're not going to mention his name because he is a 15-year-old. Our thoughts and our prayers and our condolences go out to you. It is a horrible, horrible loss. I'm not a parent. I can't speak as such, but it is a terrible loss, and our thoughts and our prayers and our condolences go out to your family. And may God just be with you and guide you through this storm that you're going through. But there really isn't a whole bunch of else to say. I've yet to see any negative opinions on this happening. As far as somebody being selfish or whatever. Look, this is about the safety of the kids. Look, we've gone to football games, all three of us, and covered enough ball games, the three of us. We know in areas that it can happen. It can happen anywhere. Hell, it happened near where I lived. There was a drive-by at Bunkie a couple years back. They didn't shoot at kids or nothing like that. They just shot in the air, trying to be funny, I guess, or whatever. I guess it's the new millennial thing now. to act like you're bad, but you're bad. You know what? With a gun, you ain't nothing. And to the like I said, to the family of the young man, our prayers and condolences go out to you.
VK.
Well, looking at the whole picture right then and there, and what George is saying is absolutely right. I understand both sides of the fence, but bottom line, it should have been neutral site game. But also, if and I understand how Cyril Crutchfield and a lot of the community of the community of Bogalusa feel. But if you are a person of interest and you are a resident, you have to look at the bigger picture of not just the fact of the 15-year-old being killed. There's been a lot of bad stuff going on in the Bogalusa area lately in the last 6 months. If anybody's paid attention to the news, there have been some people getting knocked off and killed in that
Just got
area.
killed. A rapper.
A rapper got killed. People that linked to the rapper, other people that have been killed. It's been a dangerous, dangerous area, and is it as dangerous as New Orleans right now? Bogalusa is pretty bad. If I'm a resident and if I'm close to the school and everything, I would do everything I can to have neutral site game. We take the gate, and not just that, do what they can to have neutral site games for the playoffs that they're at home. Because I'm worried about the safety of my fans, the students, and everything else, than playing at home for a home game and knowing we just had all the violence that went on in the community, not even come to our doorstep. No, they should have agreed to put this in a neutral site, and on top of that, Bugaloos need to think about playing a neutral site throughout the postseason.
I don't think Bogalusa is gonna do that though.
They probably not, but I'm saying they need to think about it for the safety of their players, the students in the community. I wouldn't be surprised they'll play it at home, but they better heighten that security at the stadium. They really need to. They have to. It's off the rip because of all these other opponents. They are fearing for their life, and that's what Albany feels like. They're fearing for their life because at first they had an agreement, and then all of a sudden Bogalu's like, "No, we're gonna fight it," and all of a sudden they feel powerless because they're like, "Now you're dictating that we got to play over there. You know what? You can have the district championship. You can have it." And I know Albany kind of feel bad about it, but at the same time, they was trying to do what was best for their team and for their fans.
Gotcha. Well, both teams will be in the playoffs. Moving on. Other district championship matchups to the Shreveport area. Here we go. Northwood Shreveport to take on North DeSoto for the District 148 championship. I got North DeSoto. George Pepis.
I'm going to go with the home team. They have been special this year. I've obviously haven't watched any of their games, but just I read and I read blogs from people that I trust, that I know in the industry, and North DeSoto has been talked about like a really good team this year. And obviously 9-0 speaks volumes, but Northwood Shreveport's a nice team too. But I think the home team gets it done. North DeSoto in a close game.
VK.
Well, North DeSoto, very consistent program. I remember I called in the car game at North DeSoto before. Very, very interesting place out there. Very interesting place. A big school at that. I mean, it's like they got a elementary, junior high, and high school all in one property. So it's crazy how it's set up, and the stadium is real, real nice. Now, with that being said, North DeSoto, they've been doing very, very well this year, and the reason why they have a coach that has a whole lot of experience and has really elevated them. Not a fan of him, like talking about it, but his experience has been very, very high. The head coach right now for North Dakota is really taking him up. That is Dennis Dunn, who used
Yep.
to be the head coach at Evangel.
Yep.
So now he is leading this North DeSoto program, and he's leading them to higher heights. But it's going to be a close game against Northwood Shreveport, but I have North DeSoto winning the district championship and finishing 10-0.
Coming back home to New Orleans, District 9 4A championship. Booker T. Washington, led by their running back Arnold Barnes, taking on the undefeated De La Salle Cavaliers, who are led by their running back P.J. Martin, two of the best running backs in the area and the state going at it for the district championship. But De La Salle will get this win. George Pepis.
De La Salle has one of the best defenses in the state, one of the best defensive players in the state, in Keith Richardson. This kid is incredible. He's being heavily recruited, and the Cavalier defense has been very, very good this year. That said, Booker T's got a nice running back in Barnes who committed to Nebraska this week,
That's right.
verbally. He hasn't signed yet because that doesn't come until December, with the first of two signing days. All that hodgepodge aside, De La Salle's going to win the game because Booker T without Barnes is very ordinary. De La Salle gets it done, and they pull away, and they pull away.
BK.
I think these two running backs, Arnold Barnes and P.J. Martin, is going to put on a show on Thursday night.
Hold on, wait. You can't pick this game because you're calling this game tomorrow.
Yeah, Kirk Street.
Of course. I cannot pick that. Thank you very much for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Give us a key, though.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling you, Key. I'm hoping, that's what I was saying, I'm hoping Arnold Barnes and P.J. Martin put on a show tomorrow. And I think they will put on a show tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see because of the fact that, De La Salle, they have a very, very good defense, and they're going to have to really slow down Arnold Barnes. But at the same time, I'll tell you, Booker T is going to have to really expand their offense through their quarterback and trying to mix it up a little more and throwing the football than just running it and making it a one-dimensional kind of thing. So that's what Booker T's got to do. De La Salle just got to keep doing what they're doing, especially hitting the ground with P.J. Martin and keeping Booker T off that field. Should be very, very interesting game tomorrow evening at Tag On.
All right. District 7 4A championship. Get it up. There it is. Ellender taking on Lutcher. Winner is the district champion, but too much Lutcher in this one. Lutcher Bulldogs. George Pepis.
This is the time of the year where Lutcher elevates, don't they? Ellender has had a really good bounce back. They've been struggling for the longest. 5-4. They'll be no worse than 5-5. Accept it and move on. Lutcher wins this game. Ellender's not going to disgrace themselves, but too much Bulldogs. Too much. Just too much. Lutcher wins big.
VK.
Dwayne Munch Winfield. He is an animal for the Lutcher Bulldogs. It should be interesting. It could be. I think it's going to be really, really close. But Lutcher pulls away. They get it done, and they'll have a nice seed going into the playoffs.
All right. Dutchtown versus East Ascension. The Battle of Gonzales for the District 5 5A championship. East Ascension. I cannot think of the running back name. His last name starts with Samuel or Walker. But he's a Tulane commit. Too much of him on Dutchtown. I have East Ascension winning the District 5 5A championship. George Pepis.
I knew this would be one of the games we would pick this week, and I've been back and forth. Touchdown's got a nice bounce back after a couple of lean years. But East Ascension, I think there's too much. You mentioned Walker, the running back, for them. I think the Spartans find a way, and they get it done. East Ascension wins this game.
VK.
Man, should be a really good game between both of these teams and everything. Dutchtown kind of bouncing back, but what a bounce back for East Ascension having a shaky start in the beginning of the season, and
Yeah.
now they are now 5-4 over 500. It's gonna be a close one. I got East Ascension winning the district championship on a winning streak. As you know, they'll. I think East Ascension will win by a field goal. Should be really really close.
All right. We go to the Bayou area. District 838 Championship. St. James, E.D. White. Close game. Very close game between two good teams, but I think Coach Levanta Davis and his crew pulls it out in the fourth quarter. St. James. That's who I got. Your district champions. George Pepis.
Two great coaches in this game. Levante Davis has really shown in his first year what he's done there at St. James, and it's to be commended. But Kyle Lassine, off a state runner-up finish last year, a close state runner-up finish, has really gotten it going again with the Cardinals down there. That's a tough place to play, E.D. White. Very tough place. Um, this is probably one of the more underrated games in the state this week. I feel like, though, you want to go with the pedigree, and the pedigree advantage lies to St. James. But, these teams, I think, match up so close and so well. And in a spot like this, I'm going to tip to the home team, but it's going to be extremely close. E.D. White's my pick.
Okay. VK Jones.
Well, this is going to be an unbelievable ball game. We talked with Coach Levance last night, and really focused on this game this week. Two good rivals and everything, and Coach Lassane meeting him last season, class act for the E.D. White Cardinals, and it's going to be really really tight. Both is an evenly matched. It is an evenly matched game, but at the same time, I'm going to go with the St. James Wildcats getting it done, winning the district championship, and solidify a top 3 seed into the playoffs next week. I got the Wildcats beating the Cardinals.
To the North Shore we go. Lakeshore looking to win the district outright, but they're taking on Franklinton. Franklinton looking to get a win and having a share of the district championship. Franklinton wins, 3 teams will share it. Lakeshore wins, they have it outright, but I think the Lakeshore Titans will be too much for the Franklinton Demons. I got Lakeshore. George Pepis.
Franklinton, after a couple of down years, has really moved back into the realm of relevancy, the island of relevancy per se. In the words of the tribal chief, I'm using WWE references. My goodness. But that being said, remember the Titans. Franklinton's going to remember those boys on Friday night. Lakeshore gets it done. An admirable season by Franklinton, but I think Lakeshore is too good, and they'll get it done.
I think the Lakeshore Titans, they have really proven themselves in the district. They over the years has been a very very good program. Franklinton, what a bounce back year for them. It's been a while. It's been a long long while since Franklinton has been in this position. Because of the fact, man, I think the last time they competed for the district championship was the last time they won the state championship, and that was with Terrence McGee. So this is gonna be a great ball game, but I'm picking Lakeshore to get it done, winning the district.
All right. We go to Morero. The Helen Cox Cougars are coming to Archbishop Shaw. Shaw wins. They are the outright District 10-4-8 champions. If Helen Cox wins, they, Bell Chase, and Shaw will all have a share of the district championship. Like I said before, you have to keep Helen Cox quarterback inside the pocket. You got to keep him contained. I think Shaw will do that. I think Shaw's running game will be too much for Helen Cox to try to stop. I have the Shaw Eagles winning their first district championship since 2008. I got Shaw.
and this is my spot right now.
Shout out to my man David D.K. Kinsey, the father of David Kinsey, number 8 for Archbishop Shaw. There he is, right there with the eyes open. I see you, my man. Go ahead, George
I
Pepis.
see
I'm
him.
sorry.
It's all good, brother. Mr. Kenzie, make sure your son commits to Michigan. When he graduates. Just saying, I'm gonna do a little instant recruiting. But all right, I'm sorry, y'all. There you go. Power up. But no, as far as the game itself, Helen Cox, Skip Lamont, they've tested themselves this year, haven't they? They've run through
Yeah.
the ringer.
You mean
That being
Emmanuel?
said,
You mean Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Powell?
Powell? I'm saying Skip. What the heck am I saying? Emmanuel Powell. Um, all right, my bad. Um, but before the year, Reggie's saying now Reggie's on the Shaw wagon. Look at this, shameful, shameful. Isn't he a Shaw grad?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
And he's on Brother Martin? Oh, wow. Now he's go Eagles. I got some pom-poms for you, Mr. Johnson. I'm gonna get it for you, brother. Green and white. Anyway, but as far as the game, look, Jared, you and I have said this before the year when we done Facebook chats with VK, all three of us. What have we said? Shaw was winning district. No matter what, this is the bounce back. There's a reason why Hank Tierney came back home to roost. They're winning this district championship, and they're going to be a contender for state. Will they get there? Who knows? We'll see how the brackets play out. But Shaw has the wherewithal and the chops and the temerity to get this done. They'll beat Helen Cox and Emmanuel Powell, and they'll beat them solidly in this game.
VK Jones.
Now, yes, sir. Helen Cox failed a bell chase last week, right?
That's correct. 15-0.
Okay. I think Emmanuel Powell's gonna have Helen Cox ready to go and everything.
He did, David Kinsey. He chose Bell Chase to win the district. Is that right, VK? Or did you choose Landry to win district?
Look, listen. I'm man enough to admit my mistakes. I'm man enough. You know me, Jerry. You know me, George. I wasn't like that before a long time ago. But I'm a man up, and I'm going to say I was wrong about Landry, and I was wrong about Bell Chase. The Shaw Eagles, all I'm going to say, my friend, to David Kinsey, to all you Shaw alumni and graduates, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Congratulations. You have won the district championship. I got Shaw over Helen Cox. You guys go ahead and celebrate your moment of glory of Shaw being back. But big time ups going Hank Tierney. I think he's going to be a candidate for Coach of the Year with the job he's done with the Shaw Eagles. They're probably starting to be one of the hottest teams in Division II.
Okay, there it is. We'll celebrate after that's what we want to celebrate.
I'm sure there'll be a Facebook Live celebration by you.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure of that.
Of course he is, and also, but the one thing I'm going to say, like, yeah, you got the district championship, congratulations, but you don't still have the megaphone.
Oh God!
Hey,
damn!
Hey, let me tell you something right quick. We may not have a megaphone, but in regards to football, y'all had won a state title since '79, and we won one in '87. So we've been in the dome more times than y'all since then.
You right, but that don't mean nothing. You still ain't run since '87, so that's as long as all now, buddy.
When the last time all been in the dome for a state championship? When the last time?
Well, and I'm not disagreeing with you. You is right about that, but at the same time, you ain't cracked the code. You should have more state titles. At least I'm saying,
y'all have won some of them games. I agree.
All y'all have is how many state titles? Just one? Two in football history? One in football.
One.
And St. Aug has 3 state titles,
Yeah, you got more.
regardless of the last time winning was 79.
Congratulations.
Hey,
And like my man David Kinsey says, we will take a state championship over a megaphone any day. And that is correct, sir.
hey, I like that. I ain't gonna lie, I like that. I
All
like that.
right.
That's some pride. That is some pride. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's see if you do take it this year. Maybe I might have a chance. Maybe.
hey,
Maybe.
hey,
I'm gonna
hey.
say
That's the goal now. Once you get to the playoffs, the goal is to go for a state championship. Take it one game at a time, though. All right. We go to Lafayette now. Lafayette Christian Academy taking on St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More wins. They win the district outright, which is District 4A. Lafayette Christian Academy wins. It's a share between them, St. Thomas More and Turlings Catholic. Man, something is telling me to take Lafayette Christian Academy, but I'm not going to go with it. I think STM gets the job done. George Pepis.
I think this is another game that's going to be on the high radar as far as games of the week. St. Thomas more though, since they beat Turlings, has really done wonders. Lafayette Christian, unlike you, Jared, I feel like they can win this Lafayette Christian, but the Cougars, Jim Hightower, um, I feel like they're flipping a switch, and I think they're turning it on at the right time. I'm going to pick the Cougars, but I believe it's going to be close. St. Thomas more is my pick.
VK.
Oh man, I'm this is gonna be really good here. LCA been playing a pretty tough schedule since they have moved up. And I think the battles really prepared them for this game here. But St. Thomas More has just been so consistent all year. They have been getting some huge wins and everything. And to me, this right here is definitely the toughest district in the state of Louisiana, period, this year. That district with LCA, STM, Westgate, and
Turlings.
also
Turlings.
Turley's Catholic as well. This was a hell of a district this year, but it's a hell of a district. Going to be a close one. I got St. Thomas more by a field goal to win the district championship.
All right. Tomorrow night, Pan American Stadium, District 11 4A championship. Warren Easton taking on McDonough 35. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the Warren Easton Eagles big over 35. Warren Easton, district champs. George Pepis.
I noticed you've been penciling them in at 9-1. You're right. Warren Easton crushes Mac 35, and 35 is nice. They've had a nice year. But like I mentioned earlier in the show when we were talking about the PowerPoints, Warren Easton lays at the top of the table. All right. And what are they telling you? Hey, y'all can put us in Division One, but watch this. Ever since at the car, they have absolutely killed people. Now, Mac 35 might put up some slight resistance, but Warren Easton's going to check out by halftime and name their margin by the second half. Eagles, huge.
VK Jones.
Don't do it.
Man. What you mean don't do
Don't
it?
do
What
it.
you mean don't do it?
Don't. I already know
I'm
what
like,
you're thinking.
what? What I'm
Come
thinking?
on.
I'm not trying to. I'm not gonna do this, man. I already picked my upset of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I think this is gonna be a great ball game. This is not gonna be one-sided at all. Because Warren Easton, they have been playing much, much better. They have been waking up. They are getting more healthier, and now they're the top seed. 35 is going to give them a ball game, and it's going to be closer than the experts think. Everybody keep thinking it's going to be 40 points. I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to say it again. McDonough 35 has the most experienced team in the state of Louisiana. They're not going to lay down. They're going to play all the way to the end. And all I'm going to tell you is this. Easton, they struggled against Carver. And Carver took them to overtime, and Carver could have won the game against a younger Carver team. You think this 35 team is gonna lay down and die and get blown out against Easton, you got another thing coming. I got Easton winning, but it will be close. It'll be Easton by a touchdown against 35. It will come down to one possession. I'm telling you here because I did the 35 Carver game, and some way, somehow, 35 got the job done in the last minute to get the win. 35 is a resilient team, and 35 is going to find their way in that ball game coming up tomorrow.
Coach Jerry Phillips will not let his team overlook another team. They played Carver, they overlooked them and almost lost. It's not going to happen come tomorrow night.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but Frank Daggs is going to have that team ready to go. Like I said,
I feel you, but I wasn't speaking of Frank Daggs. I'm speaking of Jerry Phillips.
Right. I know you're speaking of, I'm telling you through Frank Daggs. You're saying about Jerry. I'm telling you through Frank. It's just the fact of the matter is this is a better team they're going against than Carver. Carver was a young team that was starting to get better and better. I'm saying that because of the fact that, this is a big game for 35 and for Easton. If Easton wins, they could solidify the number 1 seed or be the top 2. But at the same time, I don't think that this is going to be like a blowout. Now, I will be a little bit surprised if it is, but at the same time, Easton is definitely on another level, but 35 is going to make them earn their lunch.
Okay. To Lupin Field we go. District 10 2A Championship. The number 2 team in the power rankings of Division 3 Select. St. Charles Catholic taking on the number 1 team in the power rankings of Division 3 Select, Newman. Hey, I got Newman, Arch, Manny. I got him by 13 over St. Charles Catholic. I think Newman gets this job done. George Pepis.
Arch Manning has been spectacular this year. Facts. But when Newman runs into teams that can hit, play physical at the point of attack, and make stops, they run into trouble. St. Charles has that kind of team. Are they as good as last year's team? Probably not. What does that mean in relation to style, though? Nothing. I think Wayne Stein coaches his kids up, and I think they're going to go into Lupin and pull this thing out. St. Charles wins in an upset, but they get it done.
VK.
Well, this is going to be a real interesting game, and Newman playing the last home game of the season, and they're looking for payback. They're looking for a long-awaited victory against St. Charles. I think Coach Wayne Stein is going to have St. Charles ready, and it's going to be a really, really close game. I got the Newman Greenies to win the district championship by a touchdown, and get this, since both of these teams are like 1 and 2 in the power rankings, this will not be their first matchup.
Ooh, he calling it. He's calling it here tonight.
This will not be their first matchup. This could possibly be a rematch in the state championship.
I would not mind that at all, Darren. I would not mind that at all if these two ran into each other in the Superdome. I would not mind this.
I'll tell you what I would rather see that we're not going to see. I'd rather another Newman Manny matchup, but they're not in the same division.
No, Manny is in 2A, not select.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't mind seeing it again either. But it's not happening. So too bad.
They separate after this week.
Yep. All right. We're going to Ruston, Louisiana. District 2 5A Championship. The West Monroe Rebels going to their rivals, the Ruston Bearcats. My man VK been high on Ruston for the past couple of years, everybody. Ruston this, Ruston that. Ruston's gonna come up. Ruston's on the top tier or 5A. He's been saying this stuff, and I've been disagreeing with him. Because I've said my top tier for 5A has been Desrahan, Zachary, Acadiana, West Monroe. That's been my top tier for 5A. And guess what? If his Ruston Bearcats can beat West Monroe, then I'll go ahead and just put them up there just cause. But I think the West Monroe Rebels will get the victory, and they will be District 2 5A champions. Go ahead, George Pepis. We'll let VK go last again.
All right, yeah, because we're going to hear the cell, 3 a.m. cell of the Ruston Bearcats, like an infomercial. But let's talk about the Rebels for a second, because I've never seen a more antagonistic fan base. They want to run Jerry Arledge out of there at 7-1. This is not the West Monroe of the past few years, but they're still 7-1. Ruston is 8-1, and they've had a nice year, a really, really nice year. With that being said, I'm not adhering to one side or the other, but to pick this game, I believe Ruston gets it done. West Monroe on the talent scale isn't as good as they have been. I think the Bearcats find a way. Ruston wins this by 10.
Ruston win by 10. All right, VK.
Well, my friend Jared, my faithful buddy.
Oh no.
Still not
Tripping.
just coming on the side that we gonna come on. But it's okay, brother. It's all right. It's all right. All I know, West Monroe, not the same West Monroe anymore. Not the same.
I agree with that. I agree.
And like I said, Neville's not the same. Washington's not the same. All I'm gonna tell you, I keep telling you, this is Rusty's time. And I'm like this. West Monroe been running the district a long time. But this year it changed. It changes this year. Ruston will be the new district champion for the first time in decades. And they will win the state champion. They will win, not the state champion. I'm not going to predict that. But they will win the district. They will finish 9-1 on the season. And they will clinch the number 1 seed. It will not be close to touchdowns.
Yeesh.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to the Baton Rouge area. Catholic at Zachary for the District 4A championship. The only 2 teams in Louisiana that were ranked in the nation before the season started. And now we are here, and they are still 2 of the best teams in the nation, in the state for sure. Catholic with Sheldon Sampson, in my eyes, the best wide receiver in the state. Zachary has one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and definitely in the state also, in Eli Holstein. But I think Zachary is a little bit too much for Catholic. I got Zachary by 10. George Pepis.
I feel the same way. At the end of the day, I look at the Zachary team, and I look at Eli Holstein, and they want to go out on top. They have been the new dynasty of Louisiana. And if anybody denies that, they're fools. Complete fools.
Denying that. Yeah.
No. There actually are contrarians that will say that Zachary's titles are manufactured because of the split. No, it's not. They have taken over Baton Rouge with a vengeance. Catholic has got a really nice team. Sheldon Sampson is a very nice player. Very nice. But I need a leader. I need a quarterback that makes plays, and Holstein is that dude. And don't you think this is a high-profile enough game to where he shines? I think Zachary gets it. I'm with you on the double figures. I'll go even further. I'll say 14 points, Zachary.
VK.
Well, I tell you one thing. Zachary is definitely a dynasty, and also big time props going to their head coach. And I'll tell you, he Coach. Get the name. I'm getting old.
Brewerton.
Brewerton.
Brewerton. Thank you. Thank you. Coach Brewerton has done a great job. A class act in himself. Great guy to talk to. And I tell you, you got to understand this. He won a state championship at Livonia. At Livonia. Where Livonia's been since they won the state title over Brewerton. We ain't heard from them since. So plain and simple with him coming to Zachary, because Zachary was a program that was coming up. He took them to the stratosphere. He took them to a level they had never been. And look where they are. He's done some great things at Zachary. And Zachary probably have maybe the winningest senior class maybe in their history because of what they have done over the years. And it's gonna be unbelievable senior night, especially Eli Holstein in his class. They go out winners against Catholic, but in a close game. I got Zachary by a field goal over Catholic. Catholic is too good of a team to just probably come up short like they're going to come up short. But I think it's going to be close. It comes down to a wire. Zachary wins by a field goal.
All right. Last one.
Yay.
District 9-5A Championship. The Catholic League Championship. The Carr Cougars have been on a mission the whole year. And if they weren't on a mission, they definitely went on one after they had to forfeit the first 3 games of the season that they won on the field. Carr's trying to tell everyone that you mess with the wrong school. John Curtis, on the other hand, hadn't won a district championship in quite some time, probably since 2016 when they won the state championship. Mm-hmm. Curtis wants to say that, hey, we're not scared of big, bad Carr, and that we're going to beat them and take this district championship. And it's at Yeoman Stadium where the Tulane Green Wave, who's ranked, played. And maybe we might get 10,000 fans at this game. This is for all the marbles in the Catholic League. And you have 2 teams who are not even Catholic schools playing for the Catholic League championship. I'm going to go first. JT is going to try to run this ball, play this running clock to keep Carr's offense on the sideline. Don't be fooled when JT tries to throw the ball. He attempted 13 passes last week against St. Aul. He has a quarterback that can actually throw the ball 50 yards down the field. With that being said, the best quarterback on the field is number 8 for Edna Carr. And he's going to toss that thing left, right, down the sideline, up the middle. Oh, hold up. He can hand it off to Chris Vasquez and to DeAndre Jackson. So many weapons. Can Curtis stop all these weapons? No. Edna Carr by 13. George Pepis.
We were at the Curtis Carr game last year at Tad Gormley, the 3 of us. Yeah. What I saw that night, and I'm pretty sure the both of you will concur, Carr looked a step ahead of him all night last year. Just when Curtis would make a run, Carr had the answer every time. Correct? I think that's the correct analysis.
Yep. Aaron Anderson.
With that being said, JT has broken this film down of Edna Carr. I promise you he has. He's one of the most meticulous coaches in the state when it comes to preparation. They are always fundamentally ready and sound. This is going to be part 2 of what happened last year. Edna Carr is just a better, talented roster. Yes, Curtis can throw it. And yes, Curtis still is respected. But I'm like you, Jared. I think Carr wins it. I think it's close into the 4th quarter, and the Cougars get a separation score somewhere in that 4th quarter to get the margin of win. Reggie, I agree with you. But there was someone that said Carr would win by 40 against Curtis. I make pretty good money where I work. I'll take Curtis in 40 if you're feeling froggy and the person's not here, but we know who we're talking about. I'll take that 40 points all day and twice on Sundays. I bet on days that end in Y. And every day this weekend's in Y. But Edna Carr wins. I'll give you a score. I'd say 34-24 Carr.
VK Jones.
Woo, should be interesting in itself. I'm definitely gonna go towards that in the car, closer than the experts think, because I think John Curtis and JT Curtis has done a really great job in the history in JT Curtis's career. Not too many teams has won consecutive games in consecutive years against John Curtis. So the history is a factor, but I'm going to lean towards it in the car to win the district championship. It's going to be very close, but they pull away and get it done. And it's just amazing that there's a couple of schools that merged to the Catholic League has really have made an impact, especially this season. How John Curtis and also the first year program at Edna Carr get in a position to win that district championship. So I'm going with the Carr Cougars in a close one.
Okay. George Pepis, any last words before we get out of here?
Just have y'all been watching the World Series tonight? The Houston Astros are about to close in on a no-hitter. They're winning 5-0 in the ninth inning. Christian Javier gave them 6 innings. The bullpen has not given up a hit yet. It's 5-0 Houston, no hits allowed. Would be nice to see that happen. Also, the Pelicans lead in the second quarter, 33-29. And on a more important note, I thank y'all both for the opportunity to be with y'all once again. It's enjoyable, it's relaxing, it's therapeutic in some instances, and we can talk about what we love and passion. And I look forward to doing this again. And I can't wait for when we do the playoff thing. That's going to be probably next week before the playoffs start, correct? And
Most
yeah,
definitely next week. I will get with y'all because I'm either looking at maybe Sunday after the Saints don't play Sunday, so maybe sometime
Monday night.
Sunday. Yeah, so maybe sometime Sunday we could do the select, and then maybe the next day do non-select, and then we'll go from there. So
I mean, I do work this weekend. I do work this weekend, but I can take myself off the OT list on Sunday just to make this happen.
Okay,
so
I'm cool with it.
We're good.
I'm cool.
We're good with that.
All right.
What's going on Sunday?
Yep.
I said Sunday. So the bracket's gonna be released at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. I said maybe Sunday, sometime between the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and maybe between the 6 and 7 o'clock games, we could talk about the select brackets. David Kinsey, most definitely, man. Once we're gonna talk about it when we get off the air. We're gonna get a time down, and I'm gonna have it all on Facebook. I'm gonna put it out there what time we're doing it, so you will most definitely know, my friend. VK, last word.
I hope next week we get numbers if you could, but I'm not gonna bug you too much. It's been fun doing this each and every week. This is week 10. We're on twice a week now. It's gonna be fun to see what's gonna be the brackets looking like on Sunday. And really, it's been fun, man. Just hoping to see what happens and hope that I have a winning record or you have a winning record going into postseason. But it's been fun, and we're looking forward to hopefully have a great week 10 this week.
Definitely. Well, we thank everybody who tuned in to watch the show. We thank y'all. So we will be back Sunday, and I will announce the times all on Facebook, all that good stuff. If you haven't subscribed to my page, my YouTube page, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell. So when I do come on, you know that I'm on and you can watch right then and there. I want to say thank you to VK Jones. Thank you to George Pepis for coming on the show. I appreciate it. We'll be back Sunday. Like I said, either at around 3 o'clock or we'll be on at 6 o'clock. One of the two. We're going to talk about it and we're going to let you guys know. But thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next time. Take care, y'all.